Hey there, if you're getting this video, then you're probably a new buyer that hasn't met me yet. And the reason that I'm having to make this video is because we have some new changes in real estate. I don't know if you've heard on the news, but there have been a lot of crazy lawsuits involving commissions that have gone back and forth. And basically, our association, our National Association of Realtors, has agreed to some terms to kind of appease the courts and to make things very transparent for buyers and sellers in terms of commissions. That being said, before we can show any house to any buyer now, we have to have this form signed. We only have to do it once before we can show you 20, 30 houses, doesn't matter, but we do have to have this signed before we start showing. The reason for that is to let you know that you're basically entering into an agreement with an agent. And I'll just kind of go through what the form says. But the form basically says that you're accepting me as your agent for this, for the showings or for your purchase of your house. The area that I work in, why I don't know, why they need to know that, I don't know, but that's fine. That I'm your designated agent up here is actually where my broker's name will be. And then down here, it has to do with compensation. So that's the biggest part of this. I guess that's the most important part of this that they're trying to relay. We typically get 3% or less sometimes for the commission for the buyer side, or we might get a flat rate fee, or we might negotiate. In this scenario, it's basically just saying that the buyer agrees to compensate the broker as provided below. And so we put a percentage in here. What does that mean? And why is this important to you when the seller has always paid buyer's agents commissions in the past? Well, because of the lawsuit, now sellers are definitely allowed a lot more flexibility in what they offer to buyer's agents. So they could offer to pay just, 3% commission, 2.5. They could offer to pay a flat rate fee. They can also offer to negotiate, or they can offer nothing at all. So basically what this form is spelling out is letting you know that it is your responsibility now, technically, for our commission, but it doesn't mean that you have to pay it. It just means that you're aware that we're trying to get a commission and what amount that we're trying to get. So we typically put 3% in here. And if there's anything below that we might receive, then that's okay. But above that, then we would have to renegotiate. So if you're in a position where you cannot offer any compensation to your buyer's agent, then down here in the additional terms and conditions, we would simply put that we would only look at houses where the seller is willing to pay for a commission. And that's how we would solve that problem. So we wouldn't necessarily require you personally to pay our commission. You would just be saying that you know that I need to get a commission for my work, but you are open to working with sellers that are willing to pay my commission since you cannot pay my commission. Or if you can pay a portion of the commission, you can also state that too, that in the event that the seller isn't willing to pay the full 3%, that you might be able to pay, 0.5% or 1% of the commission. It also spells out the length of this form. So it might be a year that you're looking for houses, or 6 months, or it doesn't necessarily last that long, the buying process, but you can put a date on this form, for further out, just in case, you don't find the perfect house right away. But mainly this form is designed to give everybody more transparency, both buyers and sellers, about what their agents are receiving in terms of commissions. We do realize that this is going to create a ton of confusion. We realize that you may have lots of questions. Please feel free to ask any and all questions. Main thing is, though, before we show any houses, we will have to have this signed. We can either do it in person before we enter the house, or we can do it electronically, which is preferred, before we schedule the appointment. If you have any more questions, or if I didn't explain something clearly enough, definitely let me know. Main thing to know is that you don't have to pay the commission. You can just state that the seller will pay the commission in this situation, unless you feel like you can otherwise. Have an amazing day.